In the classic Aesop's fable of the tortoise versus the hare, the tortoise, so slow and plodding, kind of goes step by step and eventually gets there. And the hare is flying way ahead of him and gets a little lazy and maybe a little complacent and arrogant. And next thing you know, who won that one, actually? It was the slowpoke, wasn't it? It was the tortoise. Modern business, who's winning? Well, look at all the disruptors that are out there. The Amazons, the Alibabas, the Coursera's, the Ubers, the Netflix. It sure looks like so many of the disrupting companies, the exciting new companies that are taking it to in industry after industry are good examples of the hare, super fast. But I'd like to make the argument that maybe the tortoise could be winning every now and then as well. One of the most enduring human biases is that we tend to generalize from very small sample sizes. So we pay attention to, Zuckerberg at Facebook and Jack Ma at Alibaba, and we say, wow, these guys, they're young, they're entrepreneurial, and that's the secret to success. But in fact, the truth is a little different. How many entrepreneurial companies are actually successful? The vast majority are failing. Kickstarter, the online crowdsourcing method to raise money, has done tens of thousands of campaigns already. And how many of those, typically with younger people raising money for some idea or some startup, how many of those actually have end up doing well? What's the venture capital track record? As soon as you start to think about it, you realize a lot of these hares, they're, these super fast entrepreneurial companies, they actually don't always do as well as we think. So we should give a little bit of a pause right away to our assumption about that. But let's look at the question of what do the tortoises bring? What do the more experienced managers and leaders bring to the table? Well, they bring experience. They bring experience dealing with all sorts of different things, different financial situations, different industries, different companies, different stages of development. And as long as they remain open-minded, as long as they are adaptable to learning and adapting and gaining new things, they could have a tremendous advantage. If you're new and you're not experienced, you can adapt, and maybe that's who you are. But what's your core? What are you bringing to the story? What skill set are you bringing to the game? Actually, the primary skill set you're bringing is that you could change, and you could change quickly. Again, that's really important. But if you can adapt that, if you can integrate that as a more experienced manager, this intellectual honesty, this open-mindedness, if you can do that and at the same time bring 10, 20, 30, 40 years of experience, you probably have a pretty powerful package. Reality is, the older you are and the longer you've been doing something, you do tend to lose a little bit of adaptability. So maybe I'm talking about a dream matchup here where you have a combination of the tortoise and the hare. You got the tortoise that might be a little bit slower moving, but comes with deep experience and dedication, is willing to see it out to the end, whatever the challenge is. But at the same time has some of those attributes of the hare that is willing to change and adapt and kind of speed away on the spot, even though that approach might not be the right one. It could stop on a dime and change. I'm asking for a lot. But if you want to be a successful leader, I think you got to do both. You have to have both. You have to have some experience base. You have to bring something to the table where you're adding value, and you have to be adaptable and adjustable, and you have to have this learning agility, if you will. Both are needed. It's tough to have both. Welcome to the real world.